school stereotype jokes about Leo, and funnily enough, these came up. What's the difference between Leo and a jock? Jocks are cool and don't get knocked out. What's the difference between Leo and a nerd? Nerds get more roots, and that's not including square roots. What's the difference between Leo and an emo? Very little. He's not. Mum and Dad were pumping out boys back in the day, and it took 3 times to get one right. Me. You guys are forgetting about my oldest brother, Val Kilmer Horton. We don't see much of him, but I'm pretty sure he's a failure. Anyway, before try, they wanted a girl, already having us till Val, and they got one, Big Leonie. I met Big Leonie a fair while ago. Some little shithead that took half my room, wore my old clothes that I wanted to keep in case I pooped my pants and did my own and basically wasted half my hair. I soon decided it wasn't so bad, and he actually was the closest thing you could have to a twin without having all the touchy-feely psychic stuff that Veronicas have. However, about those touchy-feely stuff couldn't end the Dean Guy's frigidness like the Veronicas couldn't. And anyway, that psychic twin thing might not have been so bad, as he would feel the maddest self-satisfaction when I nail awesome speeches constantly. I could have enjoyed the self-satisfaction that he feels when he solves a massive maths equation with 1 or 2 of his 21 calculators. I'd also know what it feels like to knock up a grapefruit too. Anyway, ever since then we've hit it off pretty well, except for a time when I came home drunk and tried to beat him in a fight, and he beat me, so I choked him.
Gino's dick! Oh,
Leo, or as everyone in the sporty calls him, Russell, once sent me a picture of Mum's new haircut, which was a red slime on the phone saying how gay Mum's haircut was. 6 months later, Leo's got the same one. The saying is every man goes up to marry his own mother, not to look like it. Bang nailed it.
yes!
I've handed down the legacy to Leo. There's a bar in the city called Bimbo's, and there's a small cave room in there called the Echo Room, where you play spin the bottle and make girls kiss if you have mad game like Slug and Fank and I. Anyway, we've taken it upon ourselves to make sure this room is a disgrace every time we leave there. Anyway, Leo came home one morning and told me the night before he'd stay true to the tradition, with light fittings over here, smashed glass over there, blah blah spew, blah blah kiss, and maybe the proudest brother ever. There's only ever been one time I've doubted this pride and thought Leo was adopted and wished he'd disappear like Val Kilmer Horton. That was the music festival Good Vibes. We'd have a heavy night the night before at Bimbo's in the Echo Room, passing on legacies. Our tradition for a festival, and Leo couldn't handle it. He was sick. He stood at the back of the festival whinging and bringing the general good vibe down.
Yes.
It was about as good value as when blade steaks come special at Coles. Sure, we get heaps, but they're still shit. Good nights out of Leo, one of which was my group of us. We're out and I began chatting up a very, 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 very lucky girl who had tripped over and had a cut knee. However, once introduced my girlfriend, the girl got massively upset. I think she might have cried even, because I had to part ways with her, and eventually we began to part ways. We were walking off and I noticed Leo had lagged behind. I asked him if he was coming. He said, "Nah, I think I'll stay here with her." I'm like, alright, fair enough, so I left him in the street with all the blood there. Anyway, I woke up the next day and the skateboard ramp had blood all over it.
Yes!
And that's how the skateboard ramp got named Courtney. I told him the next day that he was a silver medal and he cracked the shits.
And he thought he had herpes.
Yeah, that's herpes.
I'm too long.
Anyway, this is not the first time Leo's had my seconds. He has been from back in the day. Do you want an example?
Yes.
Mum's boobs. He would have been a pioneer except he was frigid. Only joking, he loved it. That skateboard ramp hasn't only had one victim in Courtney, however. Leo could never skate dope like the rest of us, so he tried these school holidays to catch up. However, this resulted in him knocking himself out in the front of a group of people and having yellow brain fluid pour out on the ramp for all to laugh at. Leo's a very witty man, although this will do no credit to you. This was a personal favourite of mine though. Mum and Leo were talking about some girl that was staying in her house in Drawn, and Leo was telling Mum how she never talks, he never sees her and doesn't know what she does. Anyway, Mum said, it's probably because you ignore her like a piece of dog shit on your shit. To which she replied, I wouldn't ignore that.
There you go.
When we were much younger, Leo came up to me wearing a really gay woolen jumper and only one sock and tiny little girl shorts and said, want to have a competition? I said, move along, loser. Anyway, later on that day, Leo found his other sock. We've got a new pair and I thought, this guy's dressed to impress. I wandered over to see what this competition was all about. He said, no word of a joke, I bet I can say petticoat more times than you can in 10 seconds. Anyway, knowing that I could beat him in everything except for wearing girl shorts, I started saying petticoat, petticoat, petticoat. I got maybe 13 in 10 seconds. Then Leo went, so gay. To this day, that's still the second gayest thing I've ever heard. The first gayest thing, I'm doing bankers up. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Another day, me and Greggy were driving along the side of the Leo was hot and the nicest guy we knew. I wouldn't stop saying how awesome he was. And that if we were girls, we'd be all over that like a grapefruit on a juicer. Anyway, one of Leo got awkward and climbed into the back. Possibly because we were touching his thigh, we'll never know. All me and Greggy know is if we were girls, we'd let him trash our echo room any day. But anyway, Leo, you're really the hottest, nicest and most patient guy for putting up with my shit for all those years. And I still think you're right, even though you did lose to Ben in the fight. And you did sing the words to Bad Day by Daniel Powder in the car one day. And even when you did get caught shuffling in the kitchen like the Wiseman twins at
There's no topping that, but it's interesting you guys should mention how sneaky Leo is. And it's interesting that McKibben should mention how Leo can crack a tantrum better than any of us, and I'm pretty sure I can bring those two ideas together. Leo obviously is the youngest, and that gave him the license to pretty much do whatever he wanted.
Thank you.
When we were little, Leo would take great pleasure in hitting me just before Mum and or Dad would enter a room and loving